All right, I see the recording, so that is my cue to start. So, good morning to everyone that has joined us today. There will be some others most likely joining us throughout, but as of now, we're going to go ahead and get started so I can introduce our wonderful panelists for this morning as we kick off our So You Wanna series. So, and this is going to be the So You Wanna Flex Your Leadership and Management Skills for those who may have an interest in knowing like what is it like to be in leadership and management, or to at least to use those kind of skills when they're working. They really want to the kind of position that's going to allow them that kind of flexibility to be in leadership or to feel like they are a leader or a manager of things, people, those kinds of things. So today we have three wonderful panelists I'm going to introduce to you. First, we have Marcy. She is the recruiting director at Waffle House. Marcy was an undergraduate communication studies major, and she got her degree from Christopher Newport University. I want to make sure I said that right. We also have Amber. Amber is the campus relations manager with the Select Group. These are two companies, all three companies actually, that recruit very heavily from UNCW, just so you guys know. And has an undergraduate degree in communication with a journalism minor from NC State. And last but absolutely not least, we have Annie, who is a talent acquisition specialist at Sherwin-Williams, and her undergraduate degree is in marketing and logistics from Georgia Southern University. So, no, though they're not Seahawks by degree, undergraduate degree anyway, they do bring with them some a depth of understanding from those different areas, as well as from the areas that they recruit from. So, welcome, ladies, to our panel this morning. So I'm going to kick off with our very first question, which will give you a chance to introduce yourselves, and I will call out who to start and who to go next. So this question will be directed at all three of you. So tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your organization and your role within that organization, as well as the kind of positions you recruit for as a part of that organization. So it was a kind of a three-part question. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your organization, and what kind of positions you recruit for, as well as your role. And I will start off with Marcy.
Hi, I'm Marcy Joins, and I'm a recruiting director with Waffle House. I actually just hit my 15th anniversary with the company, and I live here in Wilmington and have recruited at UNCW, I think, all 15 years that I've been with Waffle House. I primarily recruit for management trainee positions. We have a management leadership program where we bring you on as a manager trainee and then begin development and get you ready to run one restaurant as the general manager, and then run 3 restaurants as a district, 9 as a division, and 30 restaurants as an area vice president.
Thank you. So, Amber, you will be next.
Thanks for having me. Yes, so my name is Amber Lawrence. I'm the campus relations manager at the Select Group. So the Select Group is a technical services firm. We help connect IT professionals to companies who are hiring for them. So we're kind of those professional matchmakers, if you will. My role specifically as campus relations manager is recruiting all things college campuses, university, et cetera. So coming to meet awesome students like you all. We definitely hire a lot of UNCW grads. So again, while I'm not particularly an alum of the school, definitely do a lot with you guys. And we hire a lot of different sales positions as well as different departments too. So we're headquartered in Raleigh, North Carolina, where we have, marketing departments, HR, IT, finance, accounting. So we hire for all of those, but major piece of our workforce is more of the sales, inside and outside sales. So always looking to bring people on into those.
Thank you, Amber. Last but not least, we have Annie.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me today. My name is Annie Borders, and I'm the talent acquisition specialist here at Sherwin-Williams. I cover the Carolinas and Tennessee, hiring for our management and sales training program, as well as summer interns. And that program does fall within the Sherwin-Williams store locations. But if you are interested in other roles, such as anything to do with chemistry, IT, accounting, those sorts of things are mainly housed at our headquarters in Cleveland, Ohio. And then we do have other opportunities all across the country in management and sales, in that training program and in our internship.
Wonderful. All right. So the next part of this question is about a typical day? So what I want you to think about is first and foremost for you. So we have a very unique situation here with the three of you in very similar roles of talent development, recruitment. So I'm thinking the first part answer the question of what is it like for you to be a recruiter? And then the second half of that question will be for the positions you recruit for. What could someone expect of those kinds of positions? So I'm going to actually direct this first towards Amber with the select group. So Amber, again, what does a typical day look like for you as a campus relations manager? And then also the positions that you recruit. What kind of things could someone expect of those positions that you recruit for?
Yes, absolutely. So I think for both, there's not a typical day. Every day can be different. So for my role specifically, interviewing candidates, looking through resumes, being really active on campus. So I'm always interacting with new people and meeting new faces. So definitely every day can be a little bit different. But a lot of what I do is different career development and professional development types of presentations and topics. So whether it's being involved in these types of panels, whether that's a mock interview, resume review, classroom presentation, student orgs, things like that. But ideally just looking for top talent. So whether that's for our full-time roles, for our internship program, interviewing people to bring into the organization. And then in regards to the typical roles we hire for, so I'll lean more towards the sales position since that's what we mostly hire for. That can definitely be different every day too. So we have recruiters. They're focused on building their network and relationships with IT professionals in the community. So they are doing interviews. What are their skill sets? What are they really looking for to help make sure that we're finding that right company fit for them? And then we have outside sales professionals who pre-COVID, we're doing a lot of the meet and greets with clients, going out, doing the wining and dining, if you will, right? Building relationships on that side of the house to bring in business and potential positions that we could help fill with those IT professionals. Of course, now that's all virtual. So, Zoom meetings, lunch over Zoom with clients, trying to get really creative, creating games to do, different types of fun things to engage clients as well. But definitely a very metrics-based type of role. So you always have goals that you're trying to hit. You're clearly outlined expectations with your managers. So it's definitely something that you have a lot of support as you're growing in those roles to make sure that you're set up for success.
I think it's very interesting that you put it that way. When we think about recruitment, we know it's a very human capital driven position that comes out of HR. So the interaction with people is really kind of what drives recruitment. But when you're thinking about the recruiting in the virtual world, how do you actually manage that lack of physical presence and still remain engaging? So I enjoyed hearing about the games that you kind of try to bring into that. I would direct that question secondly at Marcy, specifically because you're now in a recruiting director position. And I've actually had an opportunity to have worked with Marcy for a little bit of time. So I would like to know a little bit about your the difference in the recruiting director position versus maybe when you were doing talent acquisition, and also again some of the background about a typical day in the positions that you recruit for in the management trainee program.
Okay. Okay. So as first the recruiting director side. So as the recruiting director, I have two hourly recruiting coordinators who report to me. So they are tasked with salespeople, grill operators, dishwashers, hostess type positions in the restaurants. So I do oversee them and help where needed, as far as if we have certain restaurants that are short people. Right now, we're heavily focused in Myrtle Beach because we have spring break coming, and then Memorial Day bike weekend. And we're expecting a really big summer as this vaccine continues to roll out. And as Amber said, it has been very difficult because we aren't able to do our typical in-person events that we're used to doing. I mean, normally this time of year, I'm on like somebody's campus almost every day of the week. And now we're unable to do that. So we are having to get creative as well with doing flyers, short videos, and things like that to try to reach students for our management positions and for our part-time positions. Every day is different. On Wednesday of last week, we found out the governor was opening up third shifts again. So we spent the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday kind of scrambling, trying to get those people that were working other shifts back on third and to get ready for that. On the management side, it's like Amber said, again, every day is different. I have goals to hit every period, but we cap the number of trainees we can have on board. So once we have our number of trainees, then my focus shifts more into retention, development, facilitating training, making sure that everyone's getting everything they need from a training aspect. If we have a new promotion, spending a lot of time with them, making sure they understand their new role and provide support. So it's a recruiting director support position, and kind of pitch in where needed, depending on what's going on and what reality we're facing at that time. Our division manager in Wilmington is brand new, and he's gotten 9 restaurants here locally, and he only knows how to do the job in the midst of a pandemic. So now we're trying to shift back into, what a normal day-to-day would look like, and move his team forward and from that respect. On the management side, again, their days are very different. As a trainee, as a trainee and a unit manager, the day is kind of set. You show up to one location, and essentially manage the restaurant, from managing the food costs, the profit and loss statement, handling personnel issues, cooking, cleaning, kind of whatever needs to be done. And then once you get to that district and division level, it's similar to my position, where you're not locked into one location. So it depends on who needs you and where, and we show up depending on that.
It's one of the things I like about the Waffle House management training program, is that in order to truly know how Waffle House runs, you need to know how to run a Waffle House.
Right,
And that's how I usually say it. So it's
Yeah.
one thing to come straight into a management role. It's another thing to truly understand what those people that work at the actual individual locations need. And when you can understand their needs, I think you can lead them better.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to move to the next question, which I will direct to you first, Annie, at this point. So what led you to your current position? I like to think about recruitment, interestingly enough, very much like career services. Not a lot of people just go to college and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be a recruiter one day. It's one of those things that you find, and you either find that you love it, or you find that it might not truly be for you. So when did you know that you would give recruitment a try?
Yeah, that is very true. People ask me all the time, like, how did you get into recruitment? And I say the same thing of like, I don't feel like anybody really ever plans on it. We just end up here. But as you mentioned in my introduction, I graduated from Georgia Southern with a degree in logistics and in marketing. So I actually started my career in sales. I was doing freight brokerage for a third party logistics company, and found that wasn't for me. But I had learned a lot of skills in that sales role, such as communicating, being a liaison between 2 groups, and found that I really enjoyed helping people. So I started to take on some additional responsibilities in that role when it came to training our new hires. I would go out to the career fair at Georgia Southern. I like begged the recruiter to let me go help, so I could see what that looked like, and found, hey, actually, I think all these skills that I have is called recruiting, and that's something that I really enjoy doing. So actually transitioned into a full-time HR recruiting role with that company, and did that for a few years. And then I joined Sherwin last year, which has been really fantastic. I always tell candidates, I actually thought of Sherwin and found this role because of career fairs. So when recruiters aren't talking to students, we talk to each other. And I had always just like enjoyed everybody at the Sherwin booth. Seemed like they really liked their job and liked the company. So I was really excited when I saw an opening here last year, and was actually able to leverage my network with another recruiter who had joined our team, and reach out and see how her experience was. So now I've been in recruiting for almost 4 years, hiring early talent roles from the college level into very similar like sales positions. But yeah, it was a very windy path to get here, but I'm super excited that I'm here now.
It's a little bit like the chaos theory of there's one path that you plan, and then there's like, oh no, that looks good over there, and we try that over there. I like the way you phrase that about how you began your career in one area, but as it happens with most people, you'll learn what you like about a place, and then you'll also learn what you don't like about either a place or the position, and you start to adjust yourself accordingly. And you saw a way into a position that you really enjoyed, and I appreciate that. For Marcy or Amber, I don't know exactly what your path was, but did either of you go straight into recruitment, or did you actually have something kind of like a buffer position between your undergraduate degree and recruitment? And that's
Well,
for either of you.
I didn't know there was recruitment. Actually, I found Waffle House and they were looking for a human resource specialist. And I thought, huh, that sounds like fun. So I knew that I liked working with people and dealing with that side of things. I knew I wasn't an operator. I wanted to work in a support role. And I came on board actually as a human resource specialist and then kind of found myself doing a lot of recruiting and realizing, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I like this. And then I actually got into the next position 10 months later. So yeah, I didn't realize I was getting into a recruiter position when I did. And then I kind of fell into it and thought I really enjoy this. And so over the years we've just added locations to my position. But yeah, so it's difficult straight out of college, one, to know what you want to do, and then to find all these really cool jobs that you don't hear about a whole lot. And I think recruitment for the right people person is definitely, it's a fun position, especially with mine, because I get to watch their careers grow, and I've been here long enough now to where I have people that I've hired that are now in those area vice president and senior vice president positions. And I remember them walking by me at a career fair, a couple of years ago, not having a clue what they wanted to do. And then now to see how they've progressed. So yeah, very similar. I didn't know there were actual recruiters out there. I just thought everything was HR. I didn't realize there was another direction you could go.
Absolutely agree. Like even within HR, there's so many different branches someone could take. It's not the typical HR that most will think of.
Right.
Yeah, mine was pretty similar. When I graduated, I had no clue what I wanted to do. I think that, as we've talked about, that's pretty normal. So if you guys are on the call and you're like, I have no idea, there's hope, you'll figure it out. But I actually struggled at first trying to find a company that I was really excited about. I was definitely with the mindset of give me a goal, I'm going to hit it, but I need to be somewhere where I feel as valued by the company as the value I'm putting into the company. So kind of did some job hopping, which I wasn't excited about. And then really had to look myself in the mirror, like, okay, why isn't this working out? What do you really need? And so interviewed with the select group and asked a lot of questions really about their culture, what training and opportunity did they have outside of just the job itself. And so started actually selling at the select group before moving into the talent acquisition team. Really loved the selling aspect. And I think, I look at recruiting as selling. You're just selling a company and an opportunity. So had an opportunity to join this team and never looked back. I just fell in love with it.
I think that's another wonderful line to draw, that what do you like and how can you find elements of what you like in that current position. I'm going to switch gears just a little bit, looking at the time. I want to make sure this is one particular question I want to make sure that I get in for all of you. So we kind of talked a little bit about what you like about your role. Like I heard it throughout your transition into the role. But what are some things about the profession that's not so glamorous, that you're like, please think this through before you come into this profession? I'll direct that to you, Marcy, since I know that you've had some progression in your role.
Yeah. I mean, it can be very frustrating, the position. I mean, like Amber said, it's a lot of selling, it's a lot of networking, creating relationships, talking with people, interviewing. So I would say the less glamorous side on the recruitment would be when it doesn't work out. You talk to several people, you feel like, okay, we're headed down the right track. This person's checking into their restaurant. 18 months from now, they're going to be running 3 locations, and then it doesn't work out. And then you have to go right back to square one. Um, so I think sometimes it's that part's not so much fun. Or when you do have someone leave that you feel like has a lot of potential and it could just get over the hurdle they're facing. and they don't realize grass isn't always greener, and you're going to have ups and downs at every company and every position. And this is just kind of one of their hurdles. So I think that part of it is when I don't want to say when they don't listen to me, but when I'm telling them, like, just get through, this is don't make a long-term decision on short-term emotion. And we do get some of that. For Waffle House specifically, I mean, I'm behind the counter a lot. So it's not all, today is home office, and I have an interview this afternoon that will be in the restaurant, in one of our restaurants here in town. And I mean, if I get there and the manager's, struggling, have been really busy or short staffed, then I'm washing dishes, I'm sweeping the floor, I'm waiting tables, whatever they need, because that is part of the bigger picture of my position as the recruiting director, is also development and retention. So I can't just leave someone struggling. I want them to see me pull up in the parking lot and go, okay, Marcy's here, and it's going to make things better, whether it's hiring people or just cleaning up the dish pit.
Another really great point. I remember hearing this early on in my career. There's no such thing as a perfect company. If there was, it would become imperfect as soon as you got there. So until there are perfect people, there will never be a perfect company. But finding what you like, again, what you don't like, and how do you actually guide yourself more towards the things that you like in a company. And if it doesn't work, then knowing that you have other options as well, either for upward mobility or the other option, which would all of you have experience, which is that you don't have to stay somewhere that you're not necessarily happy. If you're unhappy, odds are that people around you can tell. They don't want you to be there. They wouldn't want Marcy to pull up and say, oh, here comes grumpy Marcy. No,
exactly.
She is not.
She's not going to do anything to help me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Switching gears one more time, and I'm going to direct this first to you, Annie. What can students do to make themselves marketable, either for your industry within HR and recruitment, or for the positions that you recruit for?
Yeah, great question. So I'll start off with the positions I recruit for, because I think that might be easier. So being that Sherwin-Williams is the largest paints and coatings company in the world, a lot of people think they have to know about paint to work here, and that's not the truth. We can teach you all about paint. Really, we're looking for those soft skills of, can you communicate with a team and with a diverse range of customers? Are you hardworking? Are you going to be a team player? Do you have past experience in something like retail or fast food? Are you a leader on campus? Those are the skills that we're really looking for. I frequently interview people that are like, I know nothing about paint. I'm not qualified for this job. I'm like, yes, you are. Look at all of this other experience on your resume. So I think my advice for students is always never leave anything off of your resume because you think it's not, quote, relevant to the job. And also be able to articulate what is on your resume and what skills you learned in that position and how you can apply it to the role that you're trying to get at whatever company it is. So as long as you can show, hey, I have leadership, I have sales ability, I know how to communicate, I'm a hard worker, that's why I'm a good fit for this role at Sherwin-Williams. That always is like a rock star candidate. If I'm on an interview or at a career fair or something like this, those candidates always stand out and they can really highlight their skills.
A really great point. I'm gonna ask a follow-up question to that, but I'm actually going to direct it at you, Amber, because this is about flexing leadership and management skills. And Annie did a wonderful job of reflecting on those soft skills, including leadership. When you're looking for leadership from a student, what does that look like or sound like if they're reflecting on their experiences, that they actually have some type of leadership capabilities? If they're trying to flex those skills early on in college, what would you look for, or at least what would you look to listen for that would give you that as an indicator?
Great question. Yes, and I agree with Annie. I'm going to echo the soft skills piece because I think I can't teach you to be goal-oriented, deadline-driven. Those are things that you're learning as you're going through school and having different experiences. So we definitely are always looking for those. And when it comes to leadership, that can be as simple as me asking, when you're in a group project, what role do you take on? Right? Every group project kind of has somebody who's spearheading things, making sure different tasks are delegated, it's getting done on time, it's quality work. So that's a type of behavioral question I might ask. Definitely looking at your student organizations, what are you doing on campus? How are you involved? Are you in those leadership positions? Are you going for those leadership positions? That's a great way to see that as well. Student athletes, they're learning all types of things within their athletics too that are leadership skills, and how they're a team player. So I think it doesn't have to be a specific, I had this leadership title. I think leadership can definitely be displayed in a lot of different things. And the main way that we'll find that out and listen for is through those more behavioral questions, trying to get to the bottom of how you really respond in these different situations and how you really step up and take initiative with different things.
Another one of my favorite phrases, leadership is not a title, it's a mindset. So it can be taught. It is not something that comes innate to everyone, that it can be taught, but it is also something that can be developed as you go throughout your career. Something like you're always adding to it, becoming a better leader as you go along. So thank you guys for that. I'm going to go ahead, for the sake of time, once again, address one of my final questions, and this will be for all three of you before we go into our breakout rooms. So your organization, kind of coming back to your organization as well as the positions that you recruit for, do you take on volunteers, interns, or part-time employees? And if so, how can students learn about these opportunities and or apply?
I
And I
can
will
jump.
start with Amber. Oh, and you were
Sure.
speaking. That was perfect.
See, I was on the same page as you. So we typically haven't done volunteers in the past. I think with COVID, that could definitely be something as we're, adapting and looking into things that could maybe be new opportunities to give people experience. And just with the current climate we're in, I could definitely see that being something that we would talk about and see if that was an option and there was an opportunity to do that. But we do have interns. So our interns, we did have a program that was more sales focused, but we also have interns in other departments as well. So those are a little bit more sporadic when we have a really great project or opportunity for somebody to come in, learn a lot of great skills, and really make an impact on the business too. We do bring those on. So those always we post through Handshake. I'm posting them on LinkedIn. So if you don't have a LinkedIn, make one. The first step in networking is when you're attending these types of events, go and ask to connect with all of the panelists, right? Maybe you send a quick thank you for their time. That's going to go ahead and put you on their radar, because then as we're looking for these different opportunities and internships, we're going to think of the people who took that initiative and tried to connect and show that interest. So definitely something that is a little bit more sporadic, but we're always posting, making sure we're pushing it out to career services to let people know as they're looking and on the search.
Thank you very much, Marcy. I will swing it to you next.
Okay, we absolutely offer internships. Those are typically the semester before you graduate, because it is a scaled down version of our management training program. So you can go ahead and you actually start the management training program on a part-time basis. And then once you graduate, if we're the right fit for each other, then we make an offer to come on full time. And then you're typically about halfway done with that 12-week process, so that you can check into your restaurant a little bit quicker. So it does give someone who kind of feels like this is going to be what they want to do post graduation a little bit of a head start. We absolutely offer part-time positions as well. We do have candidates who are interested in the management program that just want to kind of see what it's like behind the counter, and work over the summer or work during the semester part-time, and then work their way into relief management and things like that, so that they can convert the part-time position into an internship and then into a full-time position. We don't offer any sort of volunteer position, but part-time, absolutely. Internships, absolutely. Again, you can, as she said, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, or check out whcareers.com. There's a lot of information about the company, culture, compensation, and the different positions on that website.
Wonderful. And Annie, you will be next.
Yeah, thank you. So yes, we do offer internship positions in the summer. They are open and we're accepting applications right now for those, as I mentioned earlier, all across the country. I specifically support the Carolinas and Tennessee. So if you're interested in those areas, feel free to reach out. But we do also offer part-time positions, which is another great thing about Sherwin and the size. We have stores everywhere. So similar to like Marcy said, it's great for students to be able to work part-time, while they're in school to see if this is something they're interested in doing, and then pursuing that full-time opportunity after they graduate. So you can find all of our roles posted online at jobsearch.sherwin.com. And you can search by location or keyword. And when you apply online, it goes to the recruiter specifically for that role.
Thank you all so very, very much. I appreciate you taking the time for the panel. And we are going to shortly come off of recording to go into our breakout session. But I would like to remind everybody that this series is happening all week long. So there are other things to learn about if you're interested in different areas, working with children, working with animals, working outside. Do know that the So You Wanna series is happening all week long. And you have here on the screen some of the additional things that are happening. This can also be found on the Career Center website. So please know other opportunities to find out more information about what you're interested in and what kind of careers will really help you to flex those particular skills. Thank you all very, very much for your time. And I hope that you all have a wonderful day after our breakout session, of course. Thank you.